part of standing out from the crowd is not just about being different, even though we're gonna talk about that in just a second, but it's also about being visible. And I don't wanna hear any excuses, because you just heard in the intro, I said I'm a wife and mom, I got 2 small kids, right? I wear all the hats and do all the things. I always say it's easier more now than ever because so many people are doing shoddy work, right? There's so many people who are creating, janky content.
Woo! Finally!
Right.
Somebody said it.
Hey.
Finally. You know what? I'm sorry.
Hey, Courtney Sanders here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me, I'm a full-time online life and business coach, as well as wife and mom. I wear all the hats and do all the things, but I do it because I'm passionate about helping you turn your success story into a 6 or even 7-figure brand. And in today's video, I want to talk about how to stand out of the crowd. And I got this idea to talk about this because there are many people who see my videos and they see me talk all about how you can build an online coaching business, how you can build a personal brand. I feel like I give so much secret sauce away on this channel, and yet they still say, but is this gonna work for me because I'm not like you? And I'm like, have you learned nothing? This relationship we've had together here on YouTube, has it meant nothing to you, right? Have you learned nothing from me except that your uniqueness is ultimately what is going to set you apart? Nothing on this channel is about you need to be just like me, but really about digging deep into finding out how you can be just like you. And so with that, I want to talk about today how you can stand out in an industry that may feel very crowded, but it's really only crowded because there's so many people following the crowd, right? It's completely wide open for those of us who are willing to do our own thing. So if that's something that you're interested and you're like, okay, I'm ready to stand out, show me how, you're in luck because we're gonna get into it right now. All right, my secret for how I stand out for the crowd, one of the first things that I spent a lot of time on and that I have done in my brand since the very beginning, I've actually been online since 2009, I've been coaching since 2014, and I've been doing this full time since 2016. But your girl has got a lot of content, okay? I have a high volume of content, and that is something that I recommend you have as well if you want to stand out from the crowd. Now, here's the thing. Part of standing out from the crowd is not just about being different, even though we're gonna talk about that in just a second, but it's also about being visible. And many people underestimate what they need in order to be visible. Now, like I said, I've been doing this for a very long time, so I have a whole storehouse of content that I've been working on throughout my entire career. But even if you just see how much content I've been putting out just over the last few years, particularly here on YouTube at 2020, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, hey, everybody's trapped in the house. They're gonna be watching a lot of YouTube videos. Now's a good time for me to reboot my YouTube channel because at the time it wasn't really active. I started this channel in college actually, where I was doing a lot of like hair care videos. My original foray into entrepreneurship was with hair care products. And so I thought that if I had this kind of like hair care video YouTube thing going on, that it would help me sell my hair products, and it didn't work. So I had all these old videos of just me like doing hair stuff and then like random videos here and there that were related to my coaching business, but my YouTube wasn't popping like that, right? But in 2020, I said, okay, I'm gonna be committed to being really consistent with this. So as I'm recording this right now, we're here at the end of 2022, so it's been about 2 years. And if you look at just in this 2-year time period, how much content I've been able to create on YouTube alone, just being honest with you, this is part of how I stand out, creating a high volume of content. And I don't want to hear any excuses because you just heard in the intro, I said I'm a wife and mom, I got 2 small kids, right? I wear all the hats and do all the things. If I can do it, certainly you can do it too. In fact, I have a video all about how I create so much content, so you can check that out. It should be showing up on the screen, or if not, it'll be somewhere in the description below. But you want to create a high volume of content because before people can make a decision about if they want to work with you, they have to see you and you have to be visible. And a high volume of content is what creates that visibility. All right, my second secret for standing out from the crowd is not just that I have a higher volume of content, but that I have a higher level of quality of content. Now, I am a big stickler for quality. I believe in excellence, and I believed in this from the very beginning of my career. And I always point this out because another thing people say is, oh, I don't have a team like you. I can't afford necessarily to hire all these people and to do all these fancy editing and all the different things that you do. I'm not asking you to do that, but I am asking you to set a standard. And so for me, I have always had a standard where I have strove to meet that standard. Even if I couldn't meet it to what I'm doing right now, I met it at the best of my ability back then. So even back in 2014, when I didn't have a graphic designer and I was doing my graphics myself, I was still staying up on YouTube, figuring out how to do things on PowerPoint because I wanted my graphics to look as good as they could look with the talent and the capability that I had. And even when I was shooting my own videos myself, in fact, as recently as 2020, I would just prop the camera up in my office and I was shooting my own videos. But guess what? I was Googling lighting and which lights do I need to order from Amazon and how can I position this? I was trying to figure out how to do my own makeup. Like, I was doing things to the best of my ability because I've always had a standard of quality and a standard of excellence. And I say that because there's so many people in this industry who, because they're so excited about the potential of coaching and how quote unquote easy it is for you to get started, they're essentially preaching that quality doesn't matter. It's very much this like, oh, you can just slap some stuff together and you can just create a course, it doesn't matter, just throw some PowerPoint slides up, like it's fine, just create a janky video in the bathroom with like low lighting and people, you know, people will love you, right? And while I understand the heart behind wanting people to get started, because people do tend towards perfectionism and they'll never get started, there's got to be a balance, right? So no, I'm not asking you to be a perfectionist, right? I obviously wasn't a perfectionist because if I would have been a perfectionist, I never would have started. I did the best that I could do, but I did the best that I could do. And so that is part of how you stand out from the crowd. I always say it's easier more now than ever because so many people are doing shoddy work, right? There's so many people who are creating, you know, janky content, janky videos, whatever. Even if all you have is your iPhone, but you take care and attention and you figure out how to use that iMovie app on your iPhone, you can create a higher level quality of content. So your secret for standing out, the first is creating a high volume of content, but really pay attention to that quality. Create a higher quality of content as well. My videographer was feeling that last point. All right, so the third secret to how I stand out is having unique branding, which goes along with the previous points, again, about wanting to make sure that you have a higher level of quality. Now, your unique branding is where you really get to show who you are. And so earlier on in my career, I had a lot of insecurities around my age. I was a millennial, I still am a millennial, but millennials are old now, so it's like whatever. Gen Zs and the new kids on the block. But back in the day when millennials were actually young, I was really insecure about being a millennial and calling myself a coach, and what if people didn't think that I had enough credibility. And you know, I actually had an incident where I had gone to a women's empowerment like lunch or bruncheon, and this woman, she was older, probably in her 50s, who was also a coach. She introduced herself as a coach. I was all excited, like, oh, I'm a coach too. And she laughed in my face and was like, oh, sweetie, you can't be a coach, you're too young. So I had some insecurity around that, but I decided to turn that insecurity into inspiration. And I said, you know what, I'm gonna make my whole brand about this. So instead of trying to mimic what I saw other people doing and trying to show myself as this kind of stuffy, you know, buttoned up, super professional coach, I kind of branded myself as this young, fresh, hip, cool millennial coach that was here for the next generation of people who were looking for personal development and growth. And it really worked and it really took off. Part of the reason why people loved my self-discipline program, which was like my breakout hit, was because it was branded in this very like millennial, hey girl, hey kind of way that I do things and how I actually am. And so I made that a part of my brand. And so you will want to have unique branding as well. Again, it does not have to be perfect, but as long as you're following the other things that we've talked about, you're operating in excellence and you are really sticking to your unique value and showing up how you actually show in the world, you will find that you will stand out naturally because people who have been looking for someone just like you finally can see you. All right, I have more where that came from, but first I want to hear from you. What industry are you in that you're trying to stand out from? Share in the comments below. All right, the fourth thing that I use and my secret for standing out from the crowd is leveraging my unique story. And here's the crazy thing. My story is unique, but me having a unique story is not unique because we all have unique stories. And so I'm always amazed at how people feel like, oh, you know, what I have is not good enough or it's not as good as someone else, even though your story is completely different from them. So again, instead of comparing yourself and saying, oh, I'm not good enough and there's no way that I'm gonna be able to stand out from the crowd, how about you focus on your unique story and make that a part of your branding, going back to the previous point. So I talked about how I branded myself really in this kind of millennial young person vibe because at the time there weren't a lot of personal development resources for people in my age group. Going along with that, I told my story often about how I started this brand on accident, fresh out of college, and I started as a blogger blogger and I didn't have a coaching certification and I built my way up, that became my story that I told. And so in partnership with my branding, it really helped me stand out because I was different from everyone else in the industry and I was doing something that other people weren't doing in a way that was really unique to me. But that was because I accepted and I leveraged my own unique story. All right, the fifth way that I was able to stand out from the crowd and how you can stand out from the crowd too is focus on having unique frameworks. Now, I talk about frameworks a lot and that it's not enough to have experience and it's not even enough to know what you are good at or what you can do for somebody, but you really want to have a framework that is a point A to point, Z, or step 1, 2, 3, a process that you can move people through in your coaching business in order to help them get a result. But here's the thing, that framework should be uniquely based on your own story. And I actually talk about this in detail in my free 5-day Nail Your Niche Challenge, where we teach you how to actually nail your niche and really be in a niche of one, a competition-proof niche where you have no choice but to stand out. So if you're interested in that, you can click the link below. But with that, once you understand your story, that will help you develop a framework for your coaching that, get this, no one else has, right? Because no one else has your unique story. My frameworks for my programs were unique to me and my experience. So my first program, which was my breakout hit, I had a self-discipline program called No Excuses Woman. Hint, hint, I'm looking to reboot that in 2023. I'm really excited about it. That whole process, yes, it was based on some things I learned around self-discipline, but it was also based on what I personally did that helped me develop self-discipline as my own story. And so I want you to think about, what is your story? How did you go through the things that you went through? And what are some things that you learned? What are some things that help you achieve your results? And how can you package that into a unique framework that people have to come to you for because they can only get it from you? All right, thanks so much. I hope you loved this video. If you did, you are going to love my 5-day free Nail Your Niche Challenge. It's really gonna help you identify not just a niche, but your unique niche where you truly are in a niche of one and you won't have any competition. So if you wanna learn how to do that, it's completely free, at least for now. Click the link below in order to join. All right, thanks so much for watching my video. If you loved it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you want even more where this came from, make sure you are subscribed to my podcast, The Courtney Sanders Show. And if you can't wait for my next podcast episode or my next YouTube video, make sure you are following me on Instagram. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.